Okay, girls, I want to showcase my brushes. Why my brushes are better than anybody else's brushes is because I've been doing this for 30 years and I go directly to the brush factory. All of my brushes are mink and pony belly, which means on a pony that's walking around on farmland, it's not cut from his back or his sides. It's cut from the dead center of the belly. And all my horses are healthy horses in America. So the first thing I want to address is why the difference between my brushes and a cheaper brush, or my brushes and a more expensive brush, and why mine are right in the middle and the best brushes you'll ever buy. My big silver here, it's mink with the pony belly, like I just said. And my brushes are assembled and hand cut in the United States. So nothing is coming from a foreign country. You don't have to worry that it's maybe not from a pony or a mink, because it's not. Look at my face. It's not. And I have the best prices. I'm going to go over prices with you after. These are my powder brushes. These are so wonderful because these are new and really untouched, but my powder brushes, I have one of each. It's the same head. I want you to see that. I keep this one in my purse because it's just a big old knob and it's easy. And it's at the bottom of my bag with chewing gum and all my other stuff. It's not even in a nice makeup bag. And I've had it there for like 8 years and it looks great. And it never loses its hair because all the hair is hand set, glued, and then pressed inside. They're really well made, and again, they're manufactured in this country. This one I keep in my makeup drawer. So the same head, and I use this for all my powder, translucent, bronzers, whatever, but for my big powder. So I want you to see these two. This doesn't stay up. This is my Luscious Kabuki. This is my blush brush. It's the same cost as these because, again, it's mink, it's pony belly from the United States, and it's hand cut and set, and it's cut for a perfect cheek. If you're young and you want to hit your apple cheek where you smile, or if you're a little older and you're like me and you just want to contour it from the top of your ear right here to the pupil of your eye. It will show up your cheekbone. It'll make you look a little thinner if you want to use a brown color. It's the softest thing you'll ever feel on your face, and it will last forever. So that's my Luscious Kabuki blush brush. Then I want to show you that all my years in the studio, this is the entire amount of brushes I've ever used. You don't need 13 brushes. And based on your eye, you probably only need a blush, a powder, 2 shadows. Not only does the hair begin to fall out right away and you have to replace it, I personally have had my tapered angle shader brush, which draws a perfect line. That's what I'm going to show you. You can dip it in any quality eyeshadow and it draws a perfect line. So I use it to line my top of my eye and my bottom of my eye. Watch what it does with black. I've had my personal angle shader for almost 14 years and the price hasn't gone up in 10. It draws a perfect line every time. Look at that line. Look at the line of my eyes. You can't get anything better. It never splays, the hair doesn't fall out, the line doesn't end up fatter. I wash it maybe once a year in a little warm water and soap, and then I squeeze it flat dry and I leave it in a coffee cup and I let it dry. If you're not sharing your brushes with anybody, I recommend that you wash them in light ivory, a light dish soap, once a year, and that's it. Because real quality hair has its natural emollient from just like the hair on your head. And you don't want to use brush cleaners. Brush cleaners are basically dry cleaning fluid. You don't want to use anything abrasive that's going to dry out the hair or change the soft velvety texture of a mink brush. And then leave it in a coffee cup to dry for 24 hours. You can do it with all of these brushes. So we've seen what my liner will do. Here's my two, a mini and a maxi. They're custom cut. They're both meant for the crease of the eye, where you put in right here, you see my brown right there, or right here. The difference is this, girls, so you get a real education on brushes. The smaller the brush, the darker the shadow comes out on your eyelid. The larger the brush splays, the more airbrush the color comes out. So sometimes I want to do a real airbrushed brown. Can you see up close how that's a softer? It just, I splay it on. So it's really not a definitive color in the crease. If I want smaller, I pat it right here with this one, and I make it just dark brown right here. It keeps my eggshell up here, and it keeps my eggshell in here. It's a different looking eye. This is a much softer eye than this eye. I'm older, I like this eye. So this is what these are. Often I have people purchase both because this one is the one they apply the crease color with, and then this is the one they blend it in with. This is my smoothie blender. It's lamb's wool. This goes way back. For those of you that are older, you'll remember why you use this. And for those of you that are younger and maybe have never seen it or don't understand why you need it, let me tell you why you need it. Do you have these colors that you want to put all over your eye? Do you have frosted white? Lamb's wool goes onto the shadow, and the shadow completely sticks to the lamb's wool, and then it applies perfectly across the eye. So if you have white frosty, if you have sparkly, stuff that flies all over, once you dip it in this, or if you have loose powders, you dip it in this, it goes from here straight across the eyelid, and it stays, and you can see it right away. When you're using a brush on some of your frostier colors, it just disappears. Don't you notice that you keep reapplying, it doesn't come out? It's because you need a smoothie blender. This is a chisel. This is an eyeshadow color for a very specific eye. If you're Asian, if you have a small eye bed, it's perfectly rounded, and I want you to see how it's hand cut again, and then it's hand set out of the same quality as both of these. It feels like butter. And I've had my smoothie for almost 14 years. My Chisel Deluxe. I never lose my hair. You can dip it in any shadow that you want. And if you have a very low eye bed, you put it right in here. I'm squinting my eye because I couldn't get anybody with a low eye bed today. So I'm making mine a low eye bed. And it just does a little half moon. So it's a great little brush just for a half moon. The last one is my Camouflage Oval. My Camouflage Oval is a high-grade Taklon. Taklon is not a real hair. Taklon is great for applying foundation or concealer in those little areas. You paint it on underneath here, or you can pat it on, or maybe I have a little spot here around my nose where I don't seem to get into. That's what your Taklon is used for. It's used to move liquids along your face. Sometimes I use up to 2-3 shades of my pale foundation. I use the brush instead of my big fat finger, so I don't get the oils of my finger in, and I pat a coat on, and then I wait, and I let it dry, and then I pat another coat on. Just right in here. Don't carry your under eye concealers out all the way. That's when you get that 3 o'clock crease where everything looks like it's lined. So here you have it, girls. These are all the brushes in the world that you could ever need. You could either do just this and this one, or you could do just this and this one. If you're budgeted for it, one always goes in your purse. You can apply your translucent powders during the day at work at noon and 3 o'clock, and one goes in your evening, your makeup drawer. Because again, same brush. And here you have it. Blush, shadow, shadow, amazing liner. Lamb's wool to apply your eggshells and your frosted whites. A half moon if you have just a little teeny eye bed, and a camouflage for applying in those little difficult spots where you want to layer. And that's it. That's it. I've been in the studio for 25 years. I've never used any other brush than this. You just don't need it. This is one-stop shopping. It's the highest quality, and it's the best price point of anything on the market. So it's higher than Target, but it beats the department store hands down because they buy in bulk. They use all different kinds of hair. Nothing is identified, and you just don't know what you're stroking on your face every day. And that's why you should buy Debbi Stewart, because it's really great. Bye.